welcome to this explainer. Think for a second about what just happened when you clicked to start this. You probably didn't even notice a thing. But in that tiny split-second fraction of time before it actually began playing, your device and a server somewhere out there in the world engaged in this massive, unseen mechanical ballet. We're talking about a rapid, highly structured exchange of data that literally forms the absolute backbone of everything we do online. So today, we're going to take that invisible process and make it completely visible. Okay, let's dive into this. We're taking a macro to micro journey today. We'll start with the internet's rulebook, zoom inside a TCP segment, break down the three-way handshake, look at handshake security and threats, and wrap up with the foundation of communication. Section 1. The internet's rulebook, the rules of the web. It is so easy to just think of the internet as this sort of wireless magic, right? But the reality is it's actually built on incredibly strict, literal protocols. To give you an idea, check out TCP/IP Illustrated, Volume 1 by Kevin Fall and W. Richard Stevens. This incredibly exhaustive guide is well over 900 pages long, and it covers the whole shebang. Everything from the physical link layers that connect the actual cables, all the way up to the domain name system that translates our web addresses. And to really grasp the sheer gravity of this architecture, network engineer Robert A. Ciampa actually called this book the Bible for TCP/IP developers. He pointed out that Stevens reveals many of the mysteries once held tightly by the ever-elusive networking gurus. It takes some serious dedication to fully understand how all these protocols interact just to prevent total digital chaos. But hey, for our explainer today, we are going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to filter out the dozens and dozens of other protocols out there and zoom straight into the transport layer, specifically the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP. TCP is absolutely the hero of our story today. It's kind of like the ultimate traffic cop that enforces order on an otherwise chaotic network, making absolutely sure that every single data packet is delivered accurately and reliably. Section 2. Inside a TCP segment, the data package. Now, what's really interesting here is how much a TCP segment looks like a highly detailed physical shipping label on a package. When your computer sends out data, it attaches a header packed with vital control info. You've got a source port telling us exactly who sent it, a destination port to make sure it reaches the right app on the server, and a sequence number to keep everything in perfect order. Plus, there's a checksum that basically acts like a scanner for transmission errors, but you really want to pay special attention to those control flags, specifically SYN and ACK. Because these are the actual mechanical levers of the handshake we're about to explore.
Section 3. The three-way handshake, connecting devices.
All right, this is where we shift from static data to dynamic action. It's that mechanical ballet where two computers actually meet. Step 1. Your client sends a SYN or synchronized packet. Think of it as a polite tap on the shoulder saying, "Hi, let's talk. Here is my starting sequence number." Then, step 2. The server responds with a SYN ACT packet. That's essentially it saying, "I hear you, here's my number, do you hear me?" And finally, step 3, your client sends an ACK, or acknowledgement, right back. "Yes, let's talk, loud and clear." Through just these 3 rapid-fire steps, a highly reliable connection is totally locked in. And all of this happens before a single byte of actual application data even moves. Section 4. Security and threats. Handshake vulnerabilities. So the crucial point is, because this system follows such rigid roles, malicious actors know exactly how to weaponize it. And the most notable way is through an attack called SYN flooding. Imagine thousands of malicious clients constantly tapping the server on the shoulder with a SYN request. Naturally, the server politely replies with a SYN ACK to every single one of them, allocating its memory and patiently waiting for that final ACK. But here's the catch. That final ACK never comes. The malicious clients leave all those handshakes intentionally incomplete. The poor server just sits there holding the door open until its resources are entirely exhausted. Ultimately, it crashes the system, completely denying service to legitimate users. Fortunately, network engineers have quite the arsenal to fight back against this. A primary defense is something called a SYN cookie. It's this really clever cryptographic trick that allows the server to verify the legitimacy of a client before it actually commits any heavy memory to the connection. Add in strict firewalls and intrusion prevention systems to block known bad traffic, throw in some aggressive timeout policies that quickly drop those incomplete handshakes, and top it off with active network monitoring. When you combine all that, administrators can spot and shut down these abnormal traffic spikes the absolute second they start. Section 5. Communication Foundation, the bedrock of the web. And this brilliantly illustrates why this protocol is so incredibly essential.
When you zoom back out, you realize the TCP three-way handshake is the absolute bedrock of the modern internet. Without this synchronized agreement on sequence numbers and connection states, our entire digital world just falls apart. Every single email you send, every secure financial transaction you make, every cloud application you rely on, it all depends on the ironclad assurance that data is going to arrive perfectly intact and in the exact right order at the other end. Which leaves us with one final thought today. As you sit there considering everything we've just covered, from that massive 900-page rulebook all the way down to those microscopic SYN and ACK flags, how many millions of invisible handshakes do you think your device just performed in the background simply to stream this explainer? It is a staggering, beautiful infrastructure happening all around us all the time. Keep exploring, and thanks for learning with me today.